my father's generation, divorce rate maybe in the single-digit figure. Yani it may be 2 or 3%, maybe. And if you hear about it, you know that there's something, Ya Latif, what happened? What happened? Now, I mentioned it before. This is USA statistics. 51%. In London, Ontario, it's 37%. In my records, the ones that I keep, and I know this, continued this, divorce, this, 33% is divorce rate in my books. Why? Because people who wanted to borrow their parents' attitude and forced them in North America, in London, in Canada, in the USA, it didn't work. I'm the man. Or, people who started to say, you can't. I have to work the same as you do. I don't want to vegetate. My mother never said that to my father. Because the way they looked at it, division of labor, okay? Now there are new things now added without being able to keep the peace of my father and your father. The peace of your father and my father, I remember his peace. You know what was his peace? P-E-A-C-E. And also I can say P-I-E-C-E. His peace was, I remember as a child, because I said so. When he says, because I said so, that's it. That's it. That will bring peace. Because that was his peace. And we didn't think much of it. Today, you expect to use the same formula of marriage, the same as they did. They never recognized degree of education. They never recognized anything. His mother liked her. She had to like her. She had to like her, the mother. And then she will tell him, I found you a bride. I found you. That's it. It's okay, as you like. As you like. And then they got married, and it was fine. Because as long as his mother liked her, there would be peace. Now we continue to use the same thing today. Still the mother insists to like her under new circumstances and say, wait a minute. No. And he wants to deal with her according to his mother's wishes, according to his father's way of dealing with his mother, according to. It's not working. It's not working. And that's why we need now to redefine for our children what are the safe, common sense, Islamic criteria for a happy marriage. Now, there are currently circumstances where marriage did not work. As some people say, well then the children will have the same thing, and that's wrong. This is wrong. That's why we're having this series. This series, when we can break that wrong, we can actually benefit from what went wrong to build something so beautiful. So beautiful. So inshallah next week we will continue to look for those things that will make. Notice that we are talking a lot about this. So how long is the series going to take? A long time. And that's why I call upon you to look. Again, I made a big plea on Friday. Come forward. Let's talk about this. It seems as if, no, my family is okay. But believe me, the issues I am involved in personally are much more than anybody can really handle. And why? Because we'd rather sleep in on a Sunday. Can you be goodwill ambassadors, please? I'm saying to you, be goodwill ambassadors. Go outside and bring the people. Wallahi, you will get hasanat, you will get rewards from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala if by bringing the people and you have the good intention and by them coming here, they are saved 15 years from now from going into a problem, you will get the reward because you were the cause of bringing them here. Okay? Any question, any comment, any?
I just want to mention.
Okay.
Right.
Can you repeat that, please?
There is a lot of people who hold a PhD are ignorant and they don't have self-confidence, even self-esteem in themselves. That's damage the whole relationship.
Thank you so much, Akhi. Let me comment on this because no matter how comprehensive our discussion is, we will continue to miss very important things, and this is a most important thing. When we talk about level of education, okay, when we talk about education, we have to differentiate between information and knowledge. Many people with PhD have lots of information, but they don't have knowledge.
وعلم.
علم. You know, knowledge is to process this information into something that will be part of this character, of this personality. What good is it to know the theory of your specialty, but when it comes to application, you don't apply it on yourself? So you are absolutely correct, Akhi. Absolutely. When we talk about PhD, we are talking in more of how society looks at it. I tell you, again, معلش طول بالك عبد السلام, we have to be patient. I tell you something. When I was living in Lebanon, again, myself and my brother, who's younger than me, my father said, nothing is good for both of you except being doctors. If you don't become a doctor, that's it. I was the obedient one, and I said, okay. I went into medicine. My brother was the rebel. That's his son standing right there. Okay. He said, no, I don't like medicine. He went into engineering. He didn't want to be a doctor. And my father was upset for quite some time. But later, you know, what we do with our lives, we have to prove ourselves. If we really became educated, or we just studied. You know, we can study as much as we want. But if we don't process what we study, that's no good. So yes, you're absolutely correct. We need to be qualified, educated human beings in order to proceed with that notion.
Maybe next week you can elaborate on the pros and cons of the age difference, because you mentioned it without saying why.
Okay, I said physical, but I didn't talk about anything. I said psychological, but I did not. Okay, so we will, inshallah, expand on why younger on the, female side is better for the marriage, okay? and we will see how we can catch it from there. Okay, any question, anything? Yes?
I have a question. I think there is a surah in Quran, I forget the name. In that verse says, a man, like when it reaches to the 40 years age,
Yes.
he becomes mature,
Yes.
and then he like asks forgiveness from Allah.
Okay.
So can you please elaborate something?
Yeah, it says حتى إذا بلغ أشده وبلغ 40 سنة قال رب أوزعني أن أشكر نعمتك التي أنعمت علي وعلى والدي وأن أعمل صالحا ترضاه. Okay, that when the person, it's in Surah Al-Zukhruf, when the person reaches 40 years and reaches the crest or the peak of his physical strength and his emotional strength and his intellectual strength. Okay, this is registered in the Quran. Now that probably may be why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent the revelation on Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam when he became 40 years old. Okay, that by the way, I read an article, I forgot where they said that a chemist reaches his peak. I don't know if you have come across that article, that a chemist actually reaches the peak of his creativity at age 40, a philosopher at age 55, a historian at age, it was something, I read it with numbers, that a linguist at age this, people reach that peak of productivity and scholarship at different ages, okay? So this is registered in the Quran, and you know, we all know that as in Surah Al-Hajj, that all of us reach a peak, and then not only physically we start to go down, okay, but even mentally sometimes, لِكَيْ لَا يَعْلَمَ مِنْ بَعْدِ عِلْمٍ شَيْئًا, until the knowledge we have accumulated, not everybody. There are people who reach 90 years of age and they are still retaining, you know, good memory, excellent. And there are people who start to lose it. جزاكم الله خير. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. صدق الله العظيم.